Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. I'm Nisrin and today I would like to explain to you guys about the book that I've recently read, which is Practical Research book, and I would specifically tell you what I read in the chapter 17. And today I would like to pretty much sum up about what chapter 17 tells the readers. So, the chapter 17 titled Revising Your Style. What is that for? To make you proceed with a better research paper writing skills. And in this chapter we have 6 points to discuss. The first one is judging style, and the second one is the first two principle of clear writing, and the third one is a third principle, old before new, and the fourth one is choosing between the active and also the passive voice, and the fifth one is a final chapter or final principle, complexity last, and the sixth or the last one is speed and polish. Okay, so we have the first point to discuss here today. The first one is judging style, and the presentation slide I'm gonna insert you here. We got 3 points from the judging style itself. The first one is effective writing balances clarity and complexity. What does that mean? That tells you that a good writing should be more clear but not overly simple. And now we move into the point number 2, which says avoid overly dense, convoluted sentences that obscure meaning, as well as overly simplistic ones that lack of depth. The writer tells you to avoid complex sentences that make readers hard to understand what the information that are you trying to deliver, and also avoid overly basic sentences that made your research paper looks more informal. And the third one, we have revise systematically to ensure ideas are precise and comprehensible. That means adjust your sentences to make it more understandable to the readers, but keep your writing meaningful. And now we move into the second point. So in the second points, we have the first two principles of clear writing. Like it said, we have two principles here. The first one is use clear subject and verbs. What does it mean, use clear subjects and verb? That means make sure the subject that you choose is clearly represent the main subject of your research, and also use verbs to show actions directly. Like for the example, decide is better than decision making. It's all because the writers want to tell the reader, make it straight to the point, like straightforward, so that the readers of your research paper could understand it more clearly into what are you trying to deliver in your research paper. And the second one, in the two principle of clear writing, we have start with familiar ideas. Start with familiar ideas is you need to have a hook sentences and start it with something familiar that you might know that your readers already know with that sentences, or your readers already know that issues, so that they can understand it more clearly and then they can get into the topic without any hard issues to understand. And now we move into the third point. So we have the third point to discuss here, that is a third principle, old before new, and you can see in the presentation slide that I put beside me. The first one, there is the points that say structure sentences to present familiar or old information first and unfamiliar or new information last. It wants you to make your research paper to start it with a simple or basic information or old information, and then you end it with a more complex sentences, and then it naturally creates a flow to help readers to connect your ideas. For the example, you can see the example beside me, but I'm trying to make it in the more linguistic field, which I'm going to explain to you guys the example. For the example, this study examines social linguistic issues and those addressing in finding the code mixing pattern. So you can see that social linguistic issues, that is what I mean about starting it with a basic sentences and then end it with a complex sentences, which is finding code mixing pattern in your research. So yeah, and then we move into the point number 4. And in this section we have choosing between active and passive voice to discuss. So you can simply choose active voice if you want to state your arguments or also your sentence in your research paper more direct and more clear, and you can also simply switch into the passive voice if you want to emphasize the reader's actions and also to emphasize the old information. You can basically choose that according to your needs and also according to what do you want to highlight in your research paper. Yeah, so now we move into the points number 5. And in the 5th point, we have a final principle complexity less to discuss, which you can see in the presentation slide beside me that tells place the most complex or technical information at the end of sentences to enhance reader comprehensions. So we want to, you better, as a researcher, we better to put technical ideas or arguments at the end of our research paper because we want the readers or our readers to process the most basic information first. For example, you can see in the slide beside that they stated the study revealed significant findings, fundamentally altering our understanding of quantum behavior. You can see the words quantum behavior. This structure ensures the complex information to proceed in the last of the ideas of the arguments stated in your research paper. So that what it's mean to put the most hard to understand or difficult ideas at the end of your research paper. And now we move into the last point of today's principles of writing. So for the last one to discuss today, we have speed and polish. You can see in the presentation slide beside that final revision focus on entering everything. So during the final revision, we are, as a researcher, we need to, it's better for us to ensure grammatical concept and also proper punctuations and coherence and sentence coherence because we want to avoid typos everywhere in our research paper. And then we need to, in the second point, we need to simplify unnecessarily complicated structures. That means we have to simplify our sentences but keep it professional and also keep it polished. Don't make it too informal but keep it formal yet academical sounds of your research paper. Okay, here we are today already reaching into the end of the videos about me sums up about revising style that I read recently in my practical research book, and I hope the information that I delivered to you before is helping you a lot and make it easier for you to conduct your research paper. And if there are any mistake that I deliver, you can tell me in the comment below and we can proceed it with more discussion. So yeah, I hope I can see you in another discussion about helping you to conduct your research paper. And for today, I ended the videos here. See you guys later, and wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.